My name is Matimu. I'm currently the Vice President Market Development for Sub-Saharan Africa for Mastercard. Some time earlier on in my career, I was about 27 or slightly younger. I had grown rapidly into senior leadership. I was working for iWayAfrica and I was the head of strategic marketing and sales for Africa, having grown from less than 3 countries, and we went into about 32 countries. And in this engagement, I was engaging with senior leaders, with regulators, with owners or senior CEOs of business in the telco industry. And I really felt I was lacking in certain areas, especially when it came to discussing leadership contextual issues at a helicopter view. I tended to be very tactical, and at that point in time I actually went back to myself and I asked, what should I do? And it's whilst at iWayAfrica that I decided to come up with my own personal development plan. And in that program, I just had all my children, and I was okay, and decided that it was now time to build Nancy. And the first thing I wanted to address was the basic fundamentals of leadership and management. And I thought, where can I get this information from? Where can I get the ability to upskill myself? And I said I was going to choose the best school that was available in Kenya. And from my honest opinion, I believe that Strathmore was the best school at that point in time. And Strathmore Business School was not cheap. It was actually the most expensive school at that point in time. But somehow I believed I could actually afford it, and I planned my finances together with my husband, and we came up with a plan. Now, the original course I wanted to take on was my MBA, because for some reason I could feel that the MBA had the modules I was looking for based on what I had studied or looked at in the course outline. However, this happened to be, I think, around June or July. And the course was already midway. And when I went into Strathmore, I said, no, we can't take you on because you already we're like almost halfway the first year. Then I asked, please just tell me any program I can just join, because I have to be at Strathmore. I don't want to be anywhere else. I need to be at Strathmore. And that's when they explained to me that I can actually start a course called PMD, Program and Management Development. And I was exposed to this whole new way of learning using case studies, and using, immersing yourself into the life of a protagonist, which is exactly what I needed. I didn't require theory, and I was very clear I was not going to school for a certificate. I wanted skills and tools to help me get better at my job as I grew on in my career. Every time I came across an issue, I found myself in a situation, instead of actually going to my my coursework in terms of the academic notes, I'd actually go into the case studies, and I got into the habit of Googling case studies, and I would say, what would Meg Whitman, for instance, do? What would so and so do in this particular scenario? What would Michael Joseph do? This is what he was doing, starting off or introducing a new innovation, and that has really helped quite a bit. So as soon as I was done, I finished, and by January I was already in for my MBA. And I really enjoyed the ride, honestly. From networks that we have up to today, we started an investment group together, to just friendships that we have today. Some of the strongest and tightest networks I have actually from Strathmore. The reason why for me Strathmore is a very special place is it's much more than just a university. And I'm not saying this because I'm a triple alumnus of Strathmore. I'm saying because it helped me change and address Nancy to be able to just get around the ways of business and to be able to fit in business as an individual. The reason why I say that is because people don't understand how much leaders struggle with their own self. You're leading other people, but you have your own personal challenges. And the only model or school that I have come across that focuses on you, the individual, is Strathmore. And they begin by talking to you about your family, the fact that on yourself, you need to put yourself in order, have a personal strategy. So as you achieve on the work front, you're also achieving on the home front. As soon as I did my PMD, I got promoted. Fact, honestly. Got promoted into head of strategic sales, because previously I was a head of client relations and a distributor relationship manager, and I was given a whole unit to run, having also run marketing supervision for iWayAfrica. Then as soon as I finished my MBA, I actually got another promotion. But I then moved on to Airtel Africa as the regional head for products and innovation revenue, covering 17 African markets. And I can tell it was not by accident because it's applying everything that I learned. And sometimes people who had seen me, getting things done before and have followed my career, then saw me again, they go like, what happened? You've changed. And I tell them it's Strathmore. It's my Strathmore MBA. My advice to young people and anybody who wants to get themselves ahead, please don't take it for granted that you will get ahead just because people will look at you and think that you're great. You have to invest in yourself, and it pays off. Invest in yourself the best way possible. Look for the best schools that there are that your money can buy. Sometimes we think we can't afford it, but if you can afford a car, you can afford to be in Strathmore. And there's so many of us driving cars, so you can choose to postpone that vehicle because, again, quite honestly, I can say this for a fact that my salary doubled, literally. And someone actually told me, do your MBA salary will double? Honestly, it did. Same case with my AMP, there's been a difference every time I have done that, different programs. And also it gives you a seat, a credible seat in the boardroom. And even when I go for board meetings, whether I'm sitting in as a board member, a director of the board, or I am the person, presenting to the board as an executive of the organization, I feel so much more comfortable because I have the tools and I know how to navigate myself around those spaces. If I had not, honestly, if I didn't, I always felt so inadequate. So I learned that from Strathmore, that it's not enough just to sit and look like you're really good at what you do. You really have to be deliberate about visualizing, packaging that vision, being very clear about how you granularize the steps of what we need to do to be able to, little bits here and there, to be able to actually realize and achieve your visual end point.